Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Final Whistle. This is episode 14, right, Evan?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, this is episode 14. We're back again. I'm with Evan. Evan got the AS Roma jersey on, which is very confusing, but
Yeah, chill out. Chill out.
um,
Look,
Evan is here. We have Derek. Derek, what's going on, man?
Just chilling, bro.
And then we have Daniel. Daniel's also back. He's always late, but at least he's here.
I'm always late.
Yeah, bro. I told you he's never on time, but I'll let that go. All right, so I think we had other topics that we were going to talk about, but breaking news dropped just yesterday where UEFA just banned Manchester City for 2 years for breaching financial fair play regulations, which was I wouldn't say it was a surprise. I don't know if it was a surprise for you guys, but it's probably one of those things I'm like, how are they getting away with a lot of stuff? But so let me kind of what I understand it is that your accounts have to be at a certain amount for the 3 years that you are, I guess, for a 3-year period. And what happened with Manchester City is that they are actually being accused of fraud. So this is different from overspending or having more losses than gains or not being able to balance your books. This is fraudulent activity where they are showing accounts of sponsorships that is actually not real, or I guess it's not authentic. And in this case, that means if Man City gets banned for 2 years, guys, what do you guys think is going to happen? Obviously they're going to appeal. I think they did appeal it, but but what do you think about the situation and how that can affect them?
All right, so with all honesty, I think with the 2-year ban thing I just mentioned, they're going to try to appeal it, but I also feel like the ACA would also try to come back and tell them that, hey, these are some guidelines that we follow, and so maybe we have to like lessen your punishment or lessen the judgment on you. I don't know what goes on behind the scene, but I see it to be something where other teams can actually like capitalize on, maybe United, Spurs, maybe. I don't know. We don't know the final verdict yet, but I feel like if it should conclude to be as we know as it is as of today, meaning they're banned for 2 years in competing in any European competition, then it would leave room for other teams to definitely participate or to be able to get their way into to the Champions League, easy ticket for this coming up season. And then in the future, I feel like most players might not be attracted to be signed on to Man City because, one, there wouldn't be Champions League football. Two, I think the coach, because I'm hearing Guardiola's probably also leaving, so I don't really know who's going to come in. So
well, and actually, before this ban, I think there were rumors that Guardiola might actually be leaving in the next 2 years. Even before this, I think he wasn't sure about staying after his contract was up. So this is actually more ammunition where he probably won't stay.
Correct, because he's not going to get the players that he needs, right? So it's going to, I don't know, the story for Man City might change per this incident because you know how Man City came in out of nowhere, started winning championships, start signing players because they had the guap to sign them. But as of now, if the situation holds as it is, then yeah, I think they're going to go back to the 06, 07 days where people just walk over them. I think that's what's going to happen.
So Derek, what are your thoughts? Well, before you go, Derek, I'm going to reiterate this again. Nobody hates, nobody is more annoyed by Man City's power of spending. I don't know anybody that's more annoyed of Man City's power of spending more than Derek. So Derek, I'm sure this is probably you're probably happy about this news, I'm thinking.
I mean, yes, I am. So personally, I'm not a big fan of teams that can be able to get any player they want and have the best of everything and dominate. I'm not really a big fan of that. I would love to have teams that have a good group of players. They have, kind of groomed themselves, brought from the youth team, and maybe a few top class players that you spend, a lot of money to get. So I have never been a big fan of Real Madrid. I've not been a big fan of, Man City just because, they have the money to do all these things. And I'm glad that some of these, financial fair play rules are getting to be useful to limit these guys from, going all out and doing whatever they want. So to the original question of what would come of Manchester City and then just, the league and the Champions League in general, I mean, if I'm being really honest, the brightest side of this is that, well, if they don't get to go in the Champions League, then Man City may probably have the chance to focus on the EPL and even continue to dominate for those 2 years and even win all the other, smaller cups that we have going on. When you say that might actually prevent players from coming into the Man City team, I probably would beg to differ on that because even though Champions League is great and all that, I don't know if that in itself is going to limit them from signing players. However, I feel Man City has a good group of players that, they're not out there trying to, get a Ronaldo or a Messi to bring onto their team. So there's probably not going to be a true challenge. I'm probably more worried about players leaving rather than people coming in. So maybe there might be players who want to leave just because they feel like I've won the league. I know what Man City is. My next big step is to win the Champions League. I can't do that in 2 years. In another 2 years, I'm probably going to hit, old age. I can't do it. That could probably be some of the things that can get players out, but Man City is a very attractive team. And I feel like, any player would like to play, in Man City. For the Champions League, I think it's a shame for the English league because then I feel like Man City is one of the very strong representatives of the English league playing, top flight football in Europe. And so if we don't have a Man City, then, I really doubt how much competition the English teams can be able to pose when we get to that part. So that's kind of how I am thinking about this. I mean, I love the fact that they're not going to continue to spend a lot of money. I'm really excited about that. But hey, it may not be it may not be all doom in my opinion. It may actually be a bright thing. And really, I like your point, Eben, about, Guardiola and the potential of him leaving, because I feel for him and as a coach, there was this documentary that I watched of him and a Man City team on Amazon. And there are a lot of very interesting aspects of Guardiola that I didn't know, but I got to see on that documentary. And I feel, amongst other things, the Champions League is like the one thing that he really want to win at Man City before he gets out, And so with this happening, I don't know whether that might actually become the thing that makes me stay longer to actually achieve that before he gets out, or that becomes the thing that pushes him out, because he's a man that has a lot of ego, and I feel if he wants to get it, he's probably going to stay together before he gets out of there, So those are my comments on it.
Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, it's actually a good news for Man United fans. All those teams who are actually battling for the top four, but more importantly, and analyzing the issue from the Man City point of view, I think one, as Derek initially stated, that it is actually more of a problem for players leaving the club than players coming to the club. So taking some players like Aguero has been at Man City for quite a long time. And I think the only thing he's actually left to achieve with Man City is the Champions League. And even the team as a whole, the only thing for them to achieve is the Champions League. So putting myself in Aguero's shoes, I'll be like, wow, we are banned from the Champions League or UEFA competition for 2 years. What am I left to do in Man City? I'm aging. So what is my decision going to be?
It's going to be, what, 33, 34 by the time they're back in?
Yeah.
If they don't win this year?
Yeah, exactly. So am I still going to really be at Man City? So it's really going to take some sacrifice for players to rather stay in Man City, especially for their experienced players like Aguero. After saying that, looking at Pep Guardiola, I actually watched a documentary about him. I think he was being interviewed about his all the basis of the interview was about whether he's actually going to leave Man City at the end of the season or not. So what he said was that he's actually working for a group of people, and if the sports director comes to him at the end of the season and say to him, "Hey, I think what I wanted you to do for me and the team, you couldn't achieve it. So I think I have to let you go." And he went like, yes, he came to do some work and he couldn't achieve it. So he will actually accept that and actually leave. So Derek was talking about his ego. And if he can't achieve the Champions League, of which he dreams, and he always talks about it in his interviews, that he dreams of winning the Champions League with Man City, because that's the only thing actually left for them to win. So if they are banned for 2 years, I don't think Pep Guardiola would himself want to leave the club. No, Pep Guardiola wouldn't want to leave the club because of the ban. But I think the main thing that will, this ban will affect is a group of players that Man City have, because they'll be looking at opportunities elsewhere to win the Champions League. And also, coming back to what I started with, analyzing this ban from the viewpoint of teams actually getting the chance to qualify for Champions League. Teams like Man United. Man United, Spurs are actually jubilating. We're actually jubilating because of this ban, you know. But I don't think this ban is actually going to hold. Man City is really going to come out, and probably if the ban is not held, probably will be reduced to a year. And I think that's what I actually have to say about this.
Well, so I think for Man City, right, and I agree, I think more players are going to want to leave more than they actually want to stay, right? So because I don't see how De Bruyne and Aguero and all these top-class players that haven't won a Champions League yet are willing to sacrifice another 2 years, which the latest that they can actually win the Champions League is 2023, right? That probably would be after the ban and the season that they get. And that is if they come right back up and win it. I don't think they have time to wait, right? So with Guardiola, if he's not going to stay and wait that long, and with De Bruyne, all these top-class players gone, Man City going to have to recruit. I'm sure they're going to get a few good players again. That's not a problem. They're always going to have their money. It's not like UEFA is going to take away their money or whatever. The one problem that I think they're going to have, and I think, Derek, you were saying that it might be good for them because they can focus. I don't think that Man City wants the league, honestly. No. The league they've done everything now. They won the league, they won the FA Cup. Like, right now, if you tell them that, badly, you're going to focus on the league, I don't think it will be like, you know what, I don't think that's okay, you know, you're right. Because at this point, if Man City wins the league this year and next year, it's still not where they've gotten. Chelsea were at a point where when we hadn't won the Champions League yet, we were still focused. That's what Paris Saint-Germain is trying to get to, right? They won the league all these years. That's what Juventus are trying to get to. You can win the league all these years, but you have to get that one trophy that's going to cement yourself as elite. And I think this ban, if it goes through, which I actually doubt that it will go through, it's going to affect this team big time, where it's like manager, players, there's going to be some exodus going on or some sort of removal. Obviously, they're going to get players back, but it's also hard to get players of that caliber and then still not get in trouble with the FFP again with how they just got in again. So this situation is bigger than the AC Milan thing last year where they got banned from Europa League for a year, right? This is fraud. Like what AC Milan did, what they just didn't balance their books. And then they found out that, okay, you spend way more money than you actually bring it in. So you broke the rules. Man City is being accused of fraudulent activity in their accounts. This is like unprecedented. We've never seen anything like that. So that's why I think that if they get found guilty, this is not a reduction of appeal. Like it has to be 2 years or nothing. It's either they're guilty or they're not, right? So if this happens, this is going to be huge. And I'm sure all the teams that are fighting for the top four now it's like a top five now. So I'm sure all these teams are very happy. So
and even just to add to what you're actually saying right now, we have some games left for the half of the season to play, and I mean it's really going to affect the players psychologically, really finishing the season, because at least if I'm actually finishing the season on the second place, I know that I'm gaining Champions League with the second place. So if I'm actually finishing the season in the second place and still come back and not play Champions League, it's really going to affect the players. Really.
But doesn't it elevate them for the Champions League? And let me ask this around. Do you guys think this situation is going to help them or hurt them? Is this going to like motivate them to get to a point where it's like, whoa, this is our last chance in the next 2-3 years. We don't know what's going to happen. Is this something that's going to drive them on to get to a point where like they're going to put all in to win the Champions League? Or is it just something that's like, it's a distraction, there's stuff going around, they might see pressure that's going to like, not have them perform?
The best case scenario is that it's going to push them to want to win the Champions League this year. But personally, if you ask me, I don't think Man City has what it takes to win the Champions League this year. No matter the impulse, no matter the push they get, I don't think they can win the Champions League this year. No.
Evan, what do you think?
Sure, I second that. And I also feel like regardless of them winning the Champions League or not, even the distracted part that Daniel just mentioned, saying that they might get distracted with the league, I really don't see that happen. I feel like the dynamic stays the same. Regardless of them being in the Champions League next season or whatever happens. I feel like how Man City plays right now, the same formula would carry throughout the entire season. Possibly sticking in the league and possibly not winning the Champions League.
Okay. And Daniel, last word on this.
Seconding what Derek said, I think they would put everything, or they'll put all their eggs in one basket. That's in the Champions League.
Yeah, because they don't have to
Champions League. Yeah, because they will have nothing to lose. I think they will focus more on the Champions League than even the league if the ban holds.
Okay, so I guess that's our review of whatever. I still think that they're gonna win the appeal for some reason, because these teams win appeals and we never know how they're able to win this, but I still feel they have a chance to win the appeal, which, well, even is showing me the money sign, which makes a lot of sense because I'm sure they can, there's loopholes that they can go through. And Man City released a statement that it seemed like they're very confident that so it's very interesting to see what comes of this.